When I opened the door that morning, I expected another debt collector, the kind that uses your first name like familiarity, but really, they only know numbers. This man was different. His grey suit had weight, his smile was deliberate. "Mr. Hale," he said, extending a manila envelope. "The inheritance. The donor specifically asked for you." That phrase, "specifically asked for you," unsettled me. Nobody ever asked for me. People leave. 5 years ago, when the oncologist said cancer, my wife's reaction wasn't tears. It was arithmetic. The bills, the treatments, the unpaid leave, she did the math in her head. 2 days later, she said it. "You're too expensive to save." Those 6 words hurt more than the disease itself. She left with one suitcase, her laptop, and a wedding ring she dropped on the counter like a receipt for a returned item. By the time chemo drained me, she was living with David Quinn, a corporate lawyer with sharp features and an empty moral compass. They married a year later. I didn't attend. Chemo nearly destroyed me, but it didn't. Pain clarified everything, it stripped me down until all that remained was purpose. I worked 3 jobs, nights at a warehouse, mornings at a garage, weekends at a diner. I paid my bills $1 at a time, breath by breath. I survived. She didn't look back. 2 years later, I saw her again on a medical research brochure. She was now COO of Quinn Biomedica, the company she and David had built. The irony burned, an empire profiting from the illness that nearly killed me. That's when I started planning. Revenge isn't fury, it's strategy. I volunteered at small medical conferences, listening, observing, learning the flow of money and influence. I met Dr. Elias Crow, a quiet philanthropist funding experimental cancer research. He respected men who understood value without boasting. When he fell ill, I visited him in hospice. He looked at me and said, "You've earned everything they stole. I wish I could give you something untouchable." I didn't understand until last week. The lawyer sat across my table, unfolding papers with care. "Dr. Crow passed 6 months ago," he said. "He left $63 million to you." I froze. Me? A man who had lost everything? Then he said the part that made sense: the inheritance had to go through Quinn Biomedica. My ex-wife and David had to deliver it to me. Suddenly, the plan crystallized. Their company's survival now relied on my signature. 3 days later, they arrived. She wore her familiar perfume, amber and deceit. David stood stiffly behind her. "Evan," she said softly, "we need to discuss the inheritance. It's complicated." I let them in, not out of kindness, but to show them what they left behind: cracked tiles, empty walls, stacks of unpaid medical bills. Survival was not pretty, it was proof. David cleared his throat. "Legally, the patents are yours, but transferring them back would save lives." "Save lives?" I said. "You mean save your company?" She reached for my hand. "You've always been compassionate." I knew the man I married. I stopped her. "You knew his wallet, not his worth." Her flinch was immediate. I saw it, a flicker of fear, the realization that the man she discarded had become untouchable. I signed the papers deliberately, then slid another envelope across the table. "What's this?" David asked. "The transfer agreement," I said. "With one clause: your resignation as CEO and CFO, effective immediately. Quinn Biomedica will rebrand under Crow's name." Her face drained of color. "You can't." "I can," I said. "If you refuse, I'll withhold the patents entirely. The media will love the story. Greedy successors almost steal a dying man's research." Silence. Then, slowly, she nodded. Her pride broke quietly, subtly. 2 days later, the news exploded. Quinn Biomedica's founders stepped down amid scandal. The company rebranded. I watched with coffee in hand, pulse steady. They lost everything: reputation, contracts, control. I gained what money cannot buy: peace. Last night, I visited Dr. Crow's grave. The marble was cold, but I felt his words. Something untouchable. He gave me justice disguised as inheritance. My wife left me because I was too costly to save. Now her name is worth nothing. And me. I became the man the donor specifically requested.